3.
Okay.
Yeah, because
tell us about that.
Because agriculture in Nigeria is still practiced like in the 50s. These days, agriculture has gone
Despite being the mainstay.
Absolutely. Recently, even with all the technology that America has, with the inflation rate, America said that their foodstuff went up by 12%. So if America can say that their foodstuff went up by 12%, then how much more us that are just still believing in rain-fed agriculture?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's we have a long way to go, but I'm glad that we are on the path.
Okay. Well, when you look at our farming technique and other, just as you mentioned, has hampered agriculture somehow. How do you see it if we get to like apply technology? Yeah.
That is the right thing to do right now, because if we are expecting youths to come into agriculture, to embrace agriculture, I don't think there's any young man out there that want to go carry hoe and cutlass and start tilling. Now agriculture has gone beyond just hoe and cutlass. There's artificial intelligence in agriculture. There is drone applied in agriculture, where drones apply your chemicals and so many other things in the field that you don't necessarily need to be right there under the sun. You can monitor all this on the computer and then on your own program. So if we must go forward, if we must really take it seriously, we have to now come back and then introduce technology to our agriculture, because truth is, we are so blessed as a country. The land is completely, favorable. You can plant anything anywhere. Unlike in some other countries that some things must be planted here. And so crops can be planted anywhere. We can do cross planting and so many other things. But the technology is very, very important to be introduced at this point.
But why are we not embracing the technology? I
don't know. Possibly because we are still not seeing agriculture as we're supposed to see it. Agriculture, yeah. Because truth is, we all talk about agriculture. We make some steps towards getting agriculture where it's supposed to be. But the major, I think that I would say the willpower is not yet there. Funds are allocated. There's lots of talks, lots of seminars, lots of conventions going on in agriculture, but the real implementation is the real farmer, the peasant farmers don't get to see all this being implemented in the farms. So we do this on executive hotels, we do this everywhere, and then we don't have it being transmitted to the real farmer down there, and we are losing them because they are getting old.
So now you're saying that the focus now should be on the rural development, where we can actually engage with the real farmer.
Absolutely. Today we have so much urban movements. So many of our youth, nobody wants to go to the farm anymore. All our youth wants to drive fancy cars and all that. And then we made agriculture look as though it's an occupation for the poor and for the wretched and for the people that have retired. That's what my husband always says, and I'm like, So we made agriculture look as if it's not for the young, vibrant person. We made agriculture look as if it's just for old. And guess what? Without agriculture, there is no sustainability. You can't even last for the next 1 month. You can't even last in the next 1 week.
Okay, we keep talking about agricultural revolution. How do we make it a reality?
Like I said, the willpower has to come from the government. Okay. They have to take it as a mainstay. So you're saying that the private sector have no role to play in this? Oh, they do, but the major factor still has to do with agriculture, with the federal government, because there's something called security. If we don't have security right now, you can't actually be in the farms to cultivate. I have a farm along Abuja Kaduna Expressway. We have like a capacity of, can take 6,000 capacity birds. But as I speak with you, nobody can go there because the place is now under siege with the kidnappers. And so it's something that a private sector cannot actually take that up.
But really, government have been doing so much. Like the Anko borrowers came by the CBN, and we've seen different revolutions, in particular in rice, maize, wheat, and things like that.
Yes, I'm so glad about you mentioned about the Anko. But is it sustainable? Is it working right now? Yes, it came out fine. People got the money. Most of those money didn't go to the real farmers, unfortunately. Okay. And then there was lots of television shows, and people went to the farm and did a lot of...
How do we make it sustainable? How do we make it reach the farmer?
we have to go back to the grassroots now and take it back, and not just taking it back as to go and reach the peasant farmer now. Make it attractive to the youths. The youths have to see it as an occupation. You have to see that it is profitable. Okay, if I produce, who takes it off me? I shouldn't be the one going to like look for the market for my produce. So the youth have to see it as something that they can come in and cash out from. So that, and it still has to go down to the government.
Earlier you made mention of the focus on rain-fed agriculture instead of the dry season farming. So how do we close the gap? Can we use technology to close the gap?
Absolutely. We need the irrigation type of farming. I was in the US some years ago, and at a point, some places in California were asked to stop using water anyhow. Why? Because the water was going to the farmers and to the farm. So we have to, there's no way you can run a country with rain-fed agriculture. We will still continue to import. You can't run a country as big as Nigeria with rain-fed. How many months in a year do we have rain? We're blessed with rain, we're blessed with sunshine, but we still need that all year round. We are producing food. And how is that possible? By irrigation. And then if the government takes it, because those infrastructure are not very cheap. If the government now takes it upon themselves, that, okay, we're going to do irrigation in this particular place. You come and buy your land, buy your estates around here. Then people will start seeing it as something that they can. But you can't tell me to go and, how do I irrigate a whole, maybe 10 hectares? You need a lot of money to do all this kind of irrigation. So the government still has to come back, and maybe bigger private sectors too. They can come in and then help.
Okay, I understand that you're a promoter of replacing aging farmers. How's that going?
It's going well. So when Shadrach Madeleine was alive, he so much championed youths in agriculture. And I felt the only way I can make his legacy go on is to like come back and then begin to tell those youths that, okay, you can be as fine as me or as rich as Shadrach Madeleine to be a farmer. You just have to just be there in the farm. So now we're taking it back to the schools. We're taking it back to, I mean, when I was smaller, we had school farms, and then you were scored by what you planted or what you harvested at the end of it. So now we're going back to schools. We're engaging lots of school preparators. Because right now they will tell you they don't even have land. But now the agriculture where you can do this vertical farming, you can do it even on your rooftop, you can do it in your on your corridor. So that we're introducing those kind of things to those new technologies to agriculture in the schools now, starting from primary schools and then to secondary schools, and partnering with organizations that can help us to teach these children how sustainable agriculture is.
Okay. Yes. Okay, but back in the days, Admiral Farms, in collaboration with NTA and other stakeholders in the agric ecosystem, brainstorm on way forward for agric to thrive. Any fruits yet?
Oh yeah, I was not yet even with Admiral. I was still in the bank then. But I know that after that and the white paper thing, there was this 20 billion agric loan that was immediately, bill that was passed at that point. And then, like I said, yeah, government will come up with that. People will run. People that are not real farmers will run and take it up, and then the real farmers will not get it. But it yielded fruit.
Where do we always get it wrong? By the farmers not actually getting this particular loans or inputs?
It's just like I say, it's just for us to agree to make it work. Because truth is, if I'm supposed to give Mr. A in the village 5,000 or 20,000 or fertilizer, and I take it up, even if I'm not in the government, somebody else hijacks it, Mr. A will not get it. So it's just for us to have integrity and to be disciplined and to do what we're supposed to do as Nigerians, not just as the government, because the government definitely will bring it. But most of these people that are not taking it to the grassroots are also Nigerians that are not government. So it's just for us to just become responsible to take this thing to where it's supposed to be. And once we are able to do that, everything will work seamlessly.
Okay, before I let you go, you've been in the financial sector.
Yes, sir.
How would you assess finance to the agri sector?
It's still the same problem, unfortunately, because you tell a farmer to bring a collateral worth 300 million, where will he get it from? You tell a farmer to get a collateral, 10 million or 50 million, or where will the farmer get such collateral from? So at the end of the day, it's someone like you that has a suit on that will just come and say, okay, I have a house worth 50 million, give me this money. And the money will not still go to the farm. It will use it for other businesses. Yeah. So until we have come up with those laws that will make that farmer anywhere to access this loan without really putting down a collateral, And then we're able to like set up a monitoring and evaluation team to monitor the farm. And then, you know, we can even set up lots of value chains, where this farmer will produce. He doesn't have to be the one to sell it. Then we can, the other people can now take it off from them. So that way, the people pay to the bank. So many other things, so many things can be put in place, and then it will work very well. Yeah, I mean, it's working. It worked in India, it worked in so many places. So why won't it work in Nigeria? It will work here too if we have the way to make it work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Patience Matlian, a Greek expert and founder, Shedrack Matlian Foundation.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. Now, moving on, the financial services sector lifts NGX turnover by 22 billion naira. Boplan Dakok has more on the market in the week ended.
Trading on the Nigerian equities market took off on a negative note last week and recorded a week of 3 sessions of losses as against 2 sessions of gains, signaling a struggle for dominance between bargain hunters and profit takers as companies release their full year scorecards. The NGX All Share Index depreciated by 0.16% to close the week at 47,202.30 basis points as market capitalization depreciated to 25.4 trillion naira. A total turnover of 1.3 billion shares worth 22.7 billion naira in 24,039 deals were traded in the week by investors. All indices finished lower with the exception of NGX 30, NGX Banking, Pension, Insurance, AfriBank, AfriDiv Yield, Mary Value, Consumer Goods, Oil and Gas, and NGX Industrial Goods indices, which appreciated. The financial services industry led the activity chart with 886.1 million shares valued at 10 billion naira traded in 11,563 deals. The consumer goods industry followed with 107.5 million shares worth 4.4 billion naira. The third place was the conglomerates industry. Trading in the top 3 equities, Access Bank, Guarantee Trust Holding Company, and Fidelity Bank accounted for 316.7 million shares worth 4.3 billion naira. 44 equities appreciated in price in the week. 31 equities depreciated, while 81 equities remained unchanged.
Meanwhile, it's a negative start on the Nigerian exchange group as the NGX All Share Index depreciated. In its first trading day for the week, the NGX All Share Index depreciated to close at 47,063.28 basis points, but the percentage loss is yet to come at the moment. Market capitalization dropped further to 25.3 trillion naira from 25.4 trillion naira in the last session. 338.025 million shares exchanged hands in 5,619 deals valued at 5.6 billion naira. Now, European stocks slide on Russia-Ukraine tension as Nikkei falls more than 2%. Nekauko has more on the markets.
Hello and welcome to the Global Market Review. World stocks slipped on Monday as warnings that Russia could invade Ukraine at any time drove oil prices to 7-year peaks. In Europe, markets pulled back sharply. Germany's DAX sank 3.16%, London's FTSE slid 1.92%, while France's CAC 40 plunged 3.06%. Stocks in Japan led losses in Asia Pacific on Monday as investors continued to monitor developments from the COVID situation in Hong Kong. The Nikkei 225 dropped 2.23% to close at 27,079.59. The Shanghai Composite also dropped 0.98%, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index dipped 1.41%. U.S. stock futures were lower in early trading as investors continued to monitor developing tensions between Ukraine and Russia and potential federal rate hikes. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 284 points. S&P 500 declined 0.91%, while Nasdaq Composite depreciated by 1.03%. African markets, like their global counterparts, were also in the red on Monday, with South Africa and Kenya among the worst performing stocks. Ghana, however, bucked the downward trend and traded above the flat line. And that's Global Market Review. I am Nneka Oku.
Now to energy. Oil steadied on Monday after earlier hitting its highest in more than 7 years on fears that a possible Russian invasion of Ukraine could trigger U.S. and European sanctions that will disrupt exports from one of the world's top producers. Brent crude declined 39 cents to $94.06 per barrel after earlier hitting a peak of $96.16, the highest since October 2014. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude shed 33 cents to trade at $92.77 per barrel after earlier hitting $94.94, the loftiest since September 2014. Now a quick look at prices of other commodities in the market. Now, this is where we end Business Express today. We value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube. Business Express returns Tuesday by 9:30 a.m. Please do have a good day.
NTA Tuesday Live, analytical, in-depth, educative and interactive on national issues accommodating all sides of opinions.
We as a people have understood that we have to fight corruption before it fights us back.
Poverty has a financial index, so it should be fought also with a financial weapon. Give it to the social investments program. It has been a very courageous battle.
Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Join us.
We want to talk about rights, there are obligations. I'm not saying that this government is a saint, very far from it. But there are things that we can do to make it better, and that's the challenge I'm throwing to you. You don't want to build this nation? I don't know where else you want to go. If I had a choice, I'll come back. When I stand outside and I hear what you have to say about this country that I know that I can die for as one, then I'm really sad because you're young. You have education. You have tools. You have a huge future ahead of you. And you're condemning yourself before you started on that journey. So please don't do that. Please don't.
Everything is architected and designed by the Almighty.
Someone who is a Christian is someone who lives a life of Jesus Christ. And the life of Jesus Christ is a life of sacrifice.
Yes.
Drive in the rain?
It depends on the velocity of the rain.
Wannan labarin ma yana peji na 36.
Ita kuma babban labarin wannan jarida shine ainihin
labarin da ke gaban jarida shine ta bayyana cewa
Okwoji Ikenga. Eziokwu.
Nwanne m nwoke
Ikechukwu Ndukwe. Igbo.
mam iji wee mee ka ụbọchị na-aga n'anya ya.
Nation fún ti òwúrọ̀ yìí ibẹ̀ náà ti sọ pé àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ ìpínlẹ̀ Benue pàṣẹ wípé
ní gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀ka, ní ẹ̀ka ètò ẹ̀kọ́, ní ẹ̀ka ètò ìlera, ní ẹ̀ka ètò ààbò.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
This is the network service of the NTA.